Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So pretty much every single time we do a GeForce Now video, one of the questions we get asked an awful lot is where's Fortnite on the iPhone and on the iPad? And it's a pretty good question. So back when Nvidia brought GeForce Now to the iPhone and the iPad, they made a pretty big song and dance about the fact that they'd partnered with Epic to bring Fortnite back onto the iPhone and onto the iPad. But months down the line, we are still none the wiser as to when it's going to be coming, and we still don't have it available through GeForce Now. Now, we've got a few thoughts as to why this is the case and why we haven't seen it just yet, and also why we've not been given the PC version. You could just play with a controller or something like that. But before we kind of jump into that, we just need to understand a little bit about the backstory as to how we're in this position in the first place. Because that way it kind of makes sense as to why we haven't to wait to actually get this new version that's going to be coming. So if you're watching this video, you're probably already pretty familiar with the whole Fortnite versus Apple and the fact that it's been booted off the App Store and it's not come back. Now, I'm not going to go too much into the backstory of that, but I am going to explore a couple of the reasons as to why it makes so much sense that Epic absolutely have to nail this down for it to be successful, because there's so much riding on it. And the first one is that yes, although they were booted off the App Store by Apple because of some of the stuff that they did in the background, they have been allowed to come back to the App Store. Apple have said time and time again that if Epic roll back the update that they rolled out, then they'd be able to bring Fortnite back to the App Store so long as it stays within the policies that are part of the App Store and everything that makes it up. Also as well, the initial legal proceedings that started between Apple and Epic, a judge and Apple both basically decided that if they want to continue down with this lawsuit, then they'd be able to bring Fortnite back to the App Store, and what would happen is any earnings from that would be put into an account and set aside. So basically when you got to the end of this legal journey, the profits then would go to whatever party had won. So in a nutshell, Epic can put Fortnite back onto the iPhone and onto the iPad, but it just means that they'd either have to back down and roll back some of the updates that they tried rolling out, or they'd be taking some risks in terms of earnings by basically giving Apple some free money. Now that's a really simplified overview, but to understand why it's so important that Epic get this next bit right, you have to understand the fact that they've been given opportunities to put Fortnite back, and ultimately Fortnite is a cash cow. Now any company is responsible for doing the best thing for their shareholders, and ultimately it doesn't matter how good your leadership is, and it doesn't matter how good your mission and everything you're trying to achieve is, once shareholders start feeling that pinch and things start taking a turn, it doesn't look as though things are going to get better, heads will roll and leadership will be replaced. And that brings us on now to the reason why things haven't come out yet in terms of GeForce Now and Fortnite through game streaming. Both Epic and Nvidia said that they were working on a different version of Fortnite, so it wouldn't be the PC version or a console version that you'd just be able to stream to a mobile device. This will basically be like playing the application natively on your phone. You'll have all of the touchscreen features enabled, so it'd basically be like playing the original iOS version, but having it streamed through to your device and not having to use a game controller if you don't want to. But you can also use a game controller if you do want to. You'll have all of your touchscreen features available, so you'll be able to pull it out of your pocket, load up GeForce Now, and just play the game as if it was already installed on the device. And that's ultimately the end goal. Now, the end goal here is pretty clear. What Epic want to do is set a precedent by basically showing other developers and Apple that, hey, we can sidestep your store if we want to. You might not allow us to sideload applications onto there. You might not allow us to have our own store, which is ultimately their end goal and what they want to be able to do. So what we're going to do is we've teamed up with a cloud gaming service provider, and we can have pretty much exactly the same experience that we'd get by having our application installed on your device, but through a cloud gaming partner. This way, Apple doesn't win at all. They get literally none of the profits that Epic would have been given them previously. So that cash cow is basically going and getting split probably between Nvidia and also obviously Epic as well. Now, it doesn't really matter how good they make that experience. There is still going to be latency. There's still going to be lag, and it's not going to be a perfect experience, but they want to nail it down completely because they absolutely have to. In setting that precedent, not only do they kind of get to give the finger to Apple and sidestep away from it, but they also get to put out a framework to other app developers. And at a time when relations seem to be at an all-time low between Apple and developers, it really makes sense that Epic want to absolutely nail this down, because if they can do it and be the shining beacon and an example that cloud gaming works, and it works basically as if you were using the application on your phone, then it's going to be something that other developers kind of take note of, and then other developers will most likely look at maybe emulating that and serving things through web apps. Suddenly we might see other applications that were always natively available on the App Store moving across into a web app or into a cloud gaming service or just a cloud service completely. And that could be the precedent that Epic set with this. If they get it right, it could be a big deal. The other reason they absolutely need to get it right is because if they get it wrong, it's such a big story. So many news outlets are going to pick it up and it's going to be reported all over the place. And at the moment, the leadership have had opportunities to put Fortnite back onto the App Store, and they are leaving so much money on the table. And ultimately, shareholders are like one thing, and that is money. No matter how much Epic may want to change things, we don't actually know their motives at the end of the day. They claim they want to make a change for developers and for the industry in general, but no matter how much they truly believe in that, at the end of the day, it all comes down to money. And once that money starts going away, and that cash cow is no longer bringing in the money because they're just refusing to put it back onto the App Store, things will start to happen in the background, and there's only so long that they can play with this war of attrition. By putting out a streamed version of Fortnite that doesn't really do anything, it doesn't impress the crowd, it doesn't bring players back or get them involved, then that's just something else that's going to hammer against that long-term mission, and it would basically sink them completely. And you can pretty much guarantee at that stage we'd start to see some changes in leadership, or at least direction, with this war that they've got going. So there's absolutely so much riding on this at the moment. It's not just about having a game available on GeForce Now. This is so much bigger than that. It's about having a game on GeForce Now that plays basically the same way as a game would have been installed on your device. You're still going to get your touchscreen enabled. You're still going to get all of those features that you had on the iOS version, but it's just going to be streamed to your device. So the only thing that's maybe going to let you down is the connection. If Epic can nail it, then they are absolutely going to make some big waves, and you can guarantee they will be shouting from the rooftops about what a success it is and the fact that you do not need the App Store as a developer. So they are our thoughts as to why Fortnite hasn't come through to GeForce Now yet, and I just think that they are absolutely working in the background to make sure this thing is as damned near perfect as they can possibly get. And if they do it, then, well, let's just see what happens. If they don't manage to pull it up, then I reckon we might start to see a bit of a change in terms of the war between Apple and Epic, and maybe Fortnite will just come back natively on the device. Who knows? So watch this space, and fingers crossed in one of the future GeForce Thursdays that they put out there, we'll get to see something more than just some indie titles coming across to the service, and Fortnite will return. And you players out there, and everybody who's asking us in the comments all the time, you'll finally be satisfied. In the meantime, we hope you've enjoyed this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below and whether or not you agree with our sort of musings on the issue. And if you've enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button to be able to catch up on our latest content in the future. In the meantime, stay safe and we'll see you soon. Bye.